So, the conspiracy theory that I'm going to be talking about is why birds aren't real. I know that might sound crazy, but just hear me out. In 2001, the government got rid of all the birds and replaced them with drones so the government can watch over us every day. In the late 1970s, a group of people found out that the government was doing this and started a movement called Birds Aren't Real. The government immediately censored this movement. They were able to censor it quickly because it was in the 70s when stuff was way easier to be censored. This movement started again on social medias like TikTok and Reddit in 2019. You may be wondering, how were the birds killed? There were water tanks that the government dropped into lakes that were filled with a bird poison that caused it to be a virus that spread onto other birds. Only birds were affected by this, and it would make it through their bloodstream, then affect their bone structure, and cause the birds to die and decompose. Now, have you ever wondered of all the different types of birds there are? Each bird acts different. Parrots are able to repeat what someone said, even though they don't have human minds. Many of you might be thinking, where does the sound actually come from then? The sound actually comes from a microphone implanted chip inside the fake bird's chest that is then projected through the bird's throat and then is interpreted to cause a human voice. Instead of it being an animal, it is actually an FBI agent talking directly through the microphone. Vultures are used to keep roadkill out of the highways. That's why you see vultures always flying up high in the sky. The bluebirds are actually scanning your eyes because of the color that attracts your eyes. So once you stare at them, they're able to scan you. Have you ever wondered why a woodpecker pecks so quickly? Well, it's actually a fake bird that takes quicker pictures than any other bird. Pigeons are found everywhere, and the reason why is because the government is keeping track to make sure nothing bad is going on. This is why if you're at a park and someone starts causing trouble, you'll see a cop randomly show up. The government is alerting the police to go where there is trouble because of the pigeons. There are times where you're eating outside and a bird randomly flies near you and is just staring at you. If you see the bird's head tilt, it means you're being recorded and being used as footage. When you hear birds chirping, that is just another way to signal the other fake birds, that they got the footage. This is why sometimes, like I said in the beginning, cops randomly show up and just randomly show up because the government is being alerted because of these birds to tell them where you're located at. A question I want you to ask yourself is, when was the last time you ever caught a bird? You can pet a dog and say it's a real thing, but birds fly miles above the sky and you just assume that it's a real thing, but they're really not. When you try to catch a bird, you are never able to because of how fast it takes off. You aren't able to catch them because they don't want you to feel them and discover what type of material they're made of. When birds migrate, they fly to the south when it gets cold. The reason why they all fly to the south is because they go get their battery changed. When they're up north and the cold weather hits, they start to get cold and their battery starts to die. There are other theories saying that birds have electrical charging coils on their feet because when they sit on a power line, the birds could be charging. That's why when they go up there, they don't get electrocuted. If a human was to get up there, we would probably be electrocuted. If you ever find a bird dead on the middle of the street or a road, it's because it didn't make it in time to recharge. In the movie Bird Box, people wear blindfolds constantly because the creature messes with your deepest fear. But I'm just gonna take this movie and apply it to the conspiracy theory. Let's just say the people wear blindfolds constantly because they don't want to take them off because they don't want to see the birds. Can the reason be that they don't want to see the birds because birds aren't real? So they can take their blindfolds off because they can't see the birds, but if they do, they take their blindfolds off, they die. It's kind of like saying if we start exposing to the government that the birds aren't real, the government will come find us and come kill us. If people find out that the birds don't exist, the government will get caught, and they don't want that to happen. If only a few people found out that if that birds aren't real, they can just take them and make them not talk. But if everybody found that, they would try to get rid of them, and rid of them, causing a lot of chaos that they would want to avoid. You might be thinking to yourself, what about a chicken? Well, chickens aren't really birds. Sure, they have feathers, but they can't even fly. They can just jump and land on their feet. Some saying that birds are chickens, that chickens are birds, is kind of like saying just because a dog has fur and claws, it's a bear. So in conclusion, these are some of the reasons why birds aren't real. Next time you see a bird while you're eating outside, you might want to scare it away so you won't be recorded and being used as footage. Thank you.